Most people intend on consuming the food they buy way before the best before date, but with the busy nature of life, it's sometimes easy to forget when food expires. With the price of food being more expensive than ever amid the cost of living crisis, this is certainly not an ideal time to be throwing away groceries, the Express reports. Luckily, missing the best before date on some foods is not the end of the world, and households might still be able to eat them a day or two later. However, this doesn't apply if there is a use-by date on the package, which is there for food safety reasons. Sophie Truman, Too Good To Go's UK and Ireland Managing Director, has shared 8 foods that the best before date can safely be ignored for and how to tell if these foods have actually gone off. 1. Milk. Milk is one of those items that most people fear when it goes off, and this inevitably leads to millions of glasses of it being wasted each day for no reason. Sophie explained, milk can still be good to eat and drink after the date shown so long as it is stored properly. It's easy to tell if it's gone off. Check for a lumpy texture, or a sour smell. 2. Yogurt. Yogurt is a tricky one as the texture and taste of it may differ as time goes on, but the acidic nature of the product means bad bacteria are almost indefinitely kept at bay. This is especially true if the yogurt is unopened and has been stored properly, meaning if yogurt looks and smells okay, it should be perfectly safe to eat for several weeks past the best before date. 3. Eggs. Storing eggs in the fridge could increase their usability by up to 3 weeks past the best before date. However, Sophie has suggested doing a quick test to ensure the eggs are safe to eat by putting them in a bowl of water. If they sink, they're still okay to eat, but if they float, don't use them. 4. Hard cheese. Hard cheeses like cheddar are likely to grow mold on them over time, but don't panic if you see a small section of it, as this can easily be fixed by cutting the mold off and enjoying the rest of the cheese. Sophie warns that this only applies to hard cheese, however, and that people should avoid doing this with soft cheese as the spores from mold often pass through soft cheese quickly. The expert added, make sure you're keeping your cheese in the fridge to help it keep fresher for longer. 5. Fruit. Fruit can still be perfectly delicious to eat a few days after their best before date. Many people believe that bruised fruits, particularly apples, pears or peaches, need to be thrown out, but they can in fact be used to make the perfect addition to a smoothie. Just make sure you cut off any brown spots and you're good to go. Sophie explains that you can tell if fruit is definitely spoiled if it has a slimy or mushy texture and an unpleasant smell. Join the Daily Records WhatsApp community here and get the latest news sent straight to your messages. 6. Berries. Berries typically spoil a bit quicker than other fruit types, but they can always be stored in the freezer to help them last longer. It's easy to tell if berries are going off, as you'll see visible mold or signs of rotting in them, as well as a possible change of color. For example, cherries can turn from bright red to brown when they start to go off. Sophie pointed out that if you notice the skin on your berries start to go wrinkly, it might not necessarily be rotten, unless you see any visible signs, but it's best to try and make sure you use them that day. The taste may not be quite the same, but they still work perfectly for baking. 7. Green vegetables. Vegetables often lose their moisture and turn a bit wilted even when they are just a few days old, but this doesn't mean they're not good to eat. Sophie insists that as long as there's no visible mold, rotting or a bad smell, they should be perfectly edible. She added, a handy tip for reviving vegetables is to dunk them in ice-cold water for a few minutes. Vegetables like carrots, celery, lettuce and spring onions can all be brought back to life with this simple trick. 8. Potatoes. Potatoes begin to sprout when they are a bit older, but they are still fine to eat if you simply cut these off. Watch out for potatoes that have gone green or feel very soft, as they may not be safe to eat.